I'm Duncan Ferguson and you're watching Toffee TV.
Welcome to Toffee TV. We're looking ahead to the game against Leicester City, which a couple of weeks ago, I'll be honest, I couldn't wait. Couldn't wait for this game. I've got a ticket. I couldn't wait for it. Now I couldn't care less. And now I just couldn't care less. And that doesn't mean, you know, all Leicester fans want me ticket, because they have been messaging.
To be fair, you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but where were you when the average attendance was 22,000 2 seasons ago?
Oh, well, to be fair,
where were you?
Yeah, you would. You should have introduced her as against champions Leicester City.
I'm not asked. I'm sick of hearing about that. I'm sick of hearing about.
Stop it.
No, I said this the other day, right? Listen, good luck to them for winning it, right? I've got no problem with them. Of course, I've got no problem. Do you know what's annoyed me is it's the way it's being perceived. Like Sky tell everyone that only a certain amount of people can win the Premier League, right? And they pat everyone else on the head. Like, remember when we were going for top 4? But we were never in the top 4 picture they had all the other teams, but we were never in it and all that. And then suddenly now they've won it. It's like wall-to-wall coverage. It's like the Cinderella story. But the people who told you they couldn't win it were them. You know, we come from an era where not anyone, but a lot of good teams. Remember when there was like Ipswich and Southampton and Forest obviously won it. Villa used to win it, and Everton used to win it. And anyone could sort of win it. I know Liverpool had the dominance and then Man United took over. But the people who told you that no one else could win it was Sky. And now Sky are lapping it all up.
But that's not Leicester, is it? That's
not Leicester's fault. No, I'm not having a go at Leicester.
Leicester have been marvellous and fully deserve it. But that's what Sky are, aren't they? Sky are just Sky, aren't they?
But now it's like the door's open again, and I wonder how quickly it'll all be quashed. I seen something yesterday on Sky, Mason saying, I expect Kante and Mahrez to leave. They're already doing it.
That's what
they're just bad knobheads. They're bad. They can't wait to rip the heart out of everything. So it's not Leicester. I'm not having a problem with Leicester. I've got a problem with just the way the coverage is.
Media, isn't it?
It's just like they'll build them up and then they'll try and knock them down as quickly as they can. But I mean, the game itself, it doesn't really mean anything now, which I'm sure Roberto Martinez has been made up about. But I seen Roberto Martinez's press conference today, and it actually annoyed me because he just didn't give them any credit. It was like, well, they've done. It's great. It's a great story, and you know they've been lucky because the players have all stayed fit and that kind of thing. And then it was like, but what about the way they play and what about how hard working they are? And it was just like, no, none of that was mentioned at all. None of that was mentioned. The subjects weren't even. And he's actually said that he wouldn't change his style to play like Leicester.
What, winning
style.
I think, they need massive credit. They've been brilliant all season. Yeah, they've had a good bit of fortune with the injuries, and you know, but they have lost players through suspension as well. Vardy's out at the moment. Mahrez was out for a bit. You know, they lost Drinkwater for a bit. The kid that left back, I can't remember his name. Schlupp. He was out when he was playing well. So they have lost players, but they just maintained that relentless 1-0 win. Away, particularly on the travels. They were brilliant. Come down to Goodison, spanked us.
Also, I mean, in the early parts of the season, they're going behind in a lot of games and coming back and winning them, and it was that spirit and belief. And I was saying this the other day. The thing about it is, really, apart from the big, you know, the last season, I've not seen the early parts like till what April or whatever it was, March. You think about it, they won the league before that, and then they finished the season. So for the best part of 3 seasons, they've had this winning mentality.
Yeah.
You know, they know how to win. They go on long runs. I think what I found really good about this season was when they've hit those periods where everyone went, you know, over Christmas, they had like Everton and Liverpool and Chelsea, and everyone was like, this is where they'll fall to bits. And then it happened around February. They had another big thing, and everyone
they lost later Arsenal, didn't they?
Yeah, everyone was like, this is where they'll fall to bits, and it never happened. And I think that's what's been most impressive. And they just kept on going. They're just a good football team without it.
They got beaten at 95th minute at Arsenal, and then he won 5 of the next 6. When everyone went, that's it, the bubble's burst now. They'll tail off now, and the proper clubs will win it now. And they just went bang, win. Fantastic.
The other good thing about them as well is in the early part of the season, they were like the reverse of us. They were winning loads of games, like 4-3 and 3-2. And at some point, the manager just went, lads, we need to stop this. We know we'll score in every game.
It was the pizza for the clean sheet.
There you go.
Everyone
loves pizza.
Get a clean sheet.
Everyone loves pizza. They just went, lads, we know we'll score goals, but with Mahrez and Vardy, we'll create chances and score goals. And he just went, just stop conceding goals. And you know what? They just stopped conceding goals. Robert Huth, who was brought in to be like someone who helped them stay up, which he did. It was brilliant signing.
Yeah,
brilliant signing. He's got in there, you know, with Morgan, Schmeichel, who we should have bought. And we didn't even have to buy him. We could have got him on a free 2 years ago. I think he's a brilliant goalkeeper, absolutely brilliant. And they've got a number of players who were brought up at clubs like Man United as well. So almost that it's been mentality's been brought into them, and you just think they haven't done nothing spectacular. They've just gone and done the jobs and then the manager comes out and he just goes, we're just doing what we're doing, and everyone likes him because he doesn't slag anyone off, he doesn't try and use mind games with anyone, he doesn't get drawn into it. And it's funny when you see all these top managers who just seem to fall to bits when the media put pressure on them, or whereas, you know, he's been there and he's suffered some really horrible things in it. I mean, when I say horrible, I don't mean, but when he was the Greece manager, got beat twice by the Faroe Islands. When he was at Chelsea, he finished second, then he was sacked and they brought Mourinho in. He was very much the nearly man he was at Monaco when they had all that money and then the money was pulled out. He's always been he's like the nearly man. So it's been brilliant for him that they've eventually done it, and he's seen actually as a really good manager without having to be a dickhead about it as well.
Yeah, he's just down to earth, isn't he? And he's the type of manager that you'd want to play for. He comes across, and I think the players have shown how much they want to play for him. You don't put that much effort in for a manager if you don't enjoy playing for him. And the other thing I think that Leicester have done...
that is a really, really important point. You do not put that much effort in for a manager that you don't like or you don't believe in his principles.
It's all about
That's a really, really important point. I want to stress that. I'm just going to sit here for a little moment, just think about that point. You do not work that hard for a manager you don't believe in.
And if you don't work hard, then what's it telling you?
Yeah.
And the other thing they've got, of course, is they've had nearly men in football. Yeah. So it's journeymen, people call them, and things like that. Vardy, I believe he started in non-league when Dave Whelan broke his leg.
I think he started in non-league at the same time that Leicester's odds were around 5,000 to 1.
But, Vardy's come through that route, hasn't he? Kante he was brought for 300 grand. Mahrez was about 400 grand. Le Havre and things like that. They've got Drinkwater who's rejected by United. So these players, Wes Morgan, I've seen Mason saying he played against them when he was at Walsall and thought he was garbage, and the kid's about to lift the he said he wasn't a very good defender then, and that was in League 2, and now he's lifting it, he's lifting the Premier League. So these players who've hit brick walls at some stage in their career, they've got that all the trappings now, and they're playing as if they're still in the grassroots.
I think what helps is it's a very unique mix. I don't think it's something that you can create a formula out of. I mean, look at Vardy. His trajectory has been literally from the bottom to the top. And I don't think you can't reproduce that in a lab, if you know what I mean. You can't go, well, he was stacking shells. What are you going to do? Take Ross Barkley and put him in Asda and say,
Ricky Lambert done it.
He did. Well, but what it proves is, and I always say this, and I think it's a very, very important thing in football, is that good coaches will keep coaching players. You don't stop learning when you get to 22 or 23. You just keep learning, and he's proved that. And the likes of Mahrez, they've all come from places where it's like, we've seen the dross. We want to see the other side of it now. And it also proves, the other thing is that you saying what Morgan there is, you have some players and they don't necessarily fit into certain levels of football, and you put them in other levels of football, and all the good things come out. All the good things come out. And listen, it's hard. It'll be hard to produce for anyone. I think to be honest, it'd be nearly impossible for them to. I'd actually put Leicester at 10,000 to 1 next season to win the league. Honestly,
of course, because it's been like a perfect storm this year for them. But they've been fantastic. But I think the thing that you can reproduce, mate, is the fact that they play with two centre forwards, which is brilliant. And that work rate, if you get a team that works that hard, quality will come through. And this is my criticism of Everton. There's loads of quality in that Everton side, loads of it. There's no application. It's very much walk around. You see Yaya Toure walking around in the Champions League, that's Everton's work rate.
Well, I mean, we're sort of like slightly putting the digs in at Everton, but you look at the Man City game against Real Madrid, it's not a once in a lifetime opportunity, because obviously those players are going to look to do that next season, but again it shows you, we're being linked with their manager, and I've never wanted them, because you look at them and they're another team that just play when they want, whereas if you put Leicester into that situation last night, I reckon they would have given Real Madrid a much difficult task. I'm not saying they would have beat Real Madrid in the Bernabeu, but at least they would have looked like they were going to win, because at no point did Man City look like they were going to beat Real Madrid at all in that game. So,
just on the Pellegrini thing, because loads of people keep throwing his name into the hat, that just infuriated me last night.
Yeah.
They were 10 minutes from going out the Champions League, so why not do something a bit different? Why not get beat 3-0? It doesn't matter. There's no glory defeat. Oh, we got beat 1-0.
One goal as well. One goal. One goal would have got
put Mangala. He's bloody useless at the back. Put him up front and just let him knock something back.
Again, this is like the, I don't know, it's like the curse of the modern. I watched the Bayern Munich game. It was the same in that as well. Pep Guardiola was banging his head against the wall for the whole game, and at the end, and well, funny enough, when they beat Juventus, they were getting beat, and they did change it and started to go more direct. And they scored from a cross, and it is like managers just won't go against their own principles, and you're just thinking, where does it get you? Because let's be honest, that's the biggest criticism of Martinez, is that we have always said it was your plan A, plan B, and unless you're a more intelligent person than us, and you watch a lot of European football,
of course, sure.
And you study in the ways, and you understand that even though you have
flexibility,
even though you've not changed any of the players and not changed the system, you have actually played in 5 different ways. I mean, I don't see that.
I didn't. You've
got to see
it. There's a special type of man.
There is.
There's
a very.
I think, to be honest,
very special.
He's a lone voice.
Voice.
He's obviously a visionary.
obviously,
he can see different things than anybody else. Because of course he watches BT Sports, Euro Roundup once in a while.
Euro Sport goals.
The Egyptian League.
You've got to have so many different ways of playing. And as I say, Leicester this season have, not saying they've had 2 different halves, but they've done whatever is needed to do to win games of football.
But teams like United used to do that. Yeah. United would be flamboyant, goal. Second half of the season, grind result, because you'd have to. And if you're, if we were playing the semi-final the other week at Wembley, we're passing it round and we've got 80% possession and we're getting beat 1-0, and then the next minute he throws Phil Jagielka up front or something and we scored twice in the last minute, are we going to sit there in the pub afterwards going, I didn't really like the way we just went long ball for that last 2 minutes, and we lost our possession stat? We're just going to be, we're in the final, we don't care, we want winning football. And the other thing is the Carragher interview with Martinez the other day, which was terrifying, in the fact that it wasn't if that was year one, I'd have been, my coffee would have been frothing, I'd have been so excited, I'd have been having to readjust my trousers, because a lot of the message that he was putting across was great. He was back there holding our hands, wooing us, looking into our eyes with his box of expensive chocolates and his milk tray man outfit on. But 3 years down the line, it's just rubbish. And Carragher's saying to him, why wouldn't you just change your principles and win 1-0 for like 5 or 6 games on the run? He's like, because that's rubbish way of winning.
It's limited.
It's not real.
It's limited.
It's limited, because the way we want to build, we'll dominate for years. Yeah, we'll dominate that 11th to 12th place for years.
Even though you're saying there about, you only have to look at Chelsea last year. Mourinho got them, they won brilliantly, and everyone was saying how brilliant they were for the first half of the season. They were going to places, scoring goals. And then you got to January, and they'd used a lot of the same players, so there was a fatigue factor, which has actually carried on into this season. But he managed it because he just went, right, we've got this point now, and all we need to do is get, I don't know, whatever points it was for the last like 15 games. He said, just defend, we'll get 1-0s, alright, we might lose a couple, but just get a couple of a few 1-0s, a few little tight games, and we'll win the league. It was just
measured.
It was measured. The whole season was measured. I think sometimes you've got to do that as a manager.
And I think the other thing as well, though, on the Chelsea thing, is that it shows you when those players dip, when they drop their level because of whatever. A lot went on with Chelsea, Eva Canero and everything else. When you drop that level, how easy it is to lose games. If you lose your focus and lose a little bit of, not really want to play for this fella no more, it's very easy to go bump down the league.
Well, that might be to do with standards, though, mightn't it? That might be to do with what the manager expects from you, and if you can't really be bothered giving that manager, then that's where it becomes. I mean, that's the flip side of it, isn't it? That's the flip side. If you suddenly go, I don't really believe in this anymore, but it might be. But when people blame the players, sometimes it is the players' fault because they go, I can't be bothered doing this anymore. It is far too much hard work.
And where Everton were concerned, I saw that against Arsenal though.
But it's not. That's not because the manager expects them to work hard. He just expects.
No, but your ethos should be working hard. That should the least I expect from any Everton player that wears the shirt is that they run themselves into the ground, because that's what.
But it's all. But sometimes though, I feel like.
But everyone has to do it. It's no good 3 of them doing it.
But I feel like sometimes they can't run themselves into the ground because the way we play doesn't allow you to run.
Well, of course, but that's what I'm saying. The bigger picture of the whole thing is that your coaching should involve your team working hard. So you know that 1 to 11 are going to work hard. Then it should be, I like to watch Everton play a certain way, and that way is fast attacking football with maximum effort and with tackles. I don't want to see 500 passes. It bores me.
It does. I'm bored of the whole thing. The philosophy for me is...
I want to see 2 strikers, and I made up Leicester have won it because they played 2 strikers. Like Saturday, Bournemouth came down with 4-4-2. Did they look like they were struggling in midfield? No, they looked like they overran the midfield, and they still had 2 men up front as well. So,
but then someone would have to expect Ross Barkley to.
If he can't do the job, then he gets off, doesn't he? He sits on the bench, or he plays wide left, or he runs up and down like a proper midfield player. That's for me the biggest area this summer is getting some decent midfield players. James McCarthy, he either learns how to play football, or he sits on the bench because just running around.
That's almost another. I mean, I think that's another reason why we need a new manager, because I think some of these players and James
got it in them.
But James McCarthy's another one. He needs somebody new.
He needs a fresh voice.
He needs someone to come in and take a look at him and go, you know what, mate, you're just not doing it for us. And I think that's why I
think he needs a fresh voice.
Yeah,
I think he needs someone to look at him and go, you've always felt as though he can do that job of getting forward. A new manager come in and go, right, I think you can do this, so this is what I need you to do. He's had Roberto Martinez for 7 years now. Going, James do this, James do. He must be bored himself.
And it's the same with. I do believe it's the same with Ross Barkley and other players. But the ultimate worry is that some of those other players will want that fresh voice to be in another club. But who knows? You get a decent manager in. Another manager in. Decent manager. It might change those voices.
What do we think then? Because there is a match preview. What do we think?
The Leicester players might all be drunk and only beat us 4-0. I don't know.
It's quite funny seeing a guard of honour, us doing a guard of honour.
I think
because they deserve it.
I think it's funny because we're going to be giving a guard of honour to a team that our manager doesn't feel that the principles they play at are what win you things. I think that's hilarious. I think that's the. I actually think this is the ultimate slap in the face for Roberto Martinez, because his principles, how he believes the games we played, are the polar opposite to it. And that doesn't mean long ball or unattractive football. That just means that the way Leicester have won it is, as you said, 4-4-2, being solid at the back, scoring goals off set pieces, being organised, getting into Vardy early, and generally just working your bollocks off for each other.
And let's not forget, if we don't beat them Saturday, he hasn't beat them as Everton manager. It'll be the 4th game without and he's played.
They'll want to win. Obviously it's their biggest day of.
Everton winning 3-0.
Yeah, biggest day for everyone attached to Leicester.
It should be. I mean, it should be a good game for us because there's nothing on it. So they've won the league. They'll want to win because they're at home and they're getting the trophy after the game. We'll want to win to try and get some points together. It should be, on paper, a good game.
Come on, top 10.
Couldn't it? It could be a good game.
It could be. Couldn't care less. Can't wait for the season to finish.
No, I know.
I'm so done with it.
We've only got 10 days left, 11 days left, and it's done. Keep the enthusiasm.
Come on! So, I'll go for a draw. Why not?
Very quickly, what do you want? I want to see Kieran Dowell, Pennington, Connolly, and
Tony Hibbert.
Anthony Evans.
Tony Hibbert. Aussie.
But what do you want to see? What would you like to see? Omar Niasse and Lukaku up front?
Probably. Pienaar. No,
because you watched the good.
I'd like to see Dahl. I'd like to see Dahl on the side, giving a go.
Giving a go.
He didn't get a goal last week. Got 3 minutes. And Pennington starts as well. And I think that'll do for me. Anyway, tell us what you think in the comments. Can we go and get anything? Are you going to sell your ticket to a Leicester fan? Are you even going to watch? Are you arsed? Tell us what you think. Stay arsed. Stay positive. It's all about Everton. It's not about him. It's about Everton. Don't forget we're on Twitter as well at Toffee TV 1. Facebook /Toffee TV EFC. You know, all those things. All those places. We'll see you soon on Toffee TV.